Welcome back to New Rockstars. This is Big Question, the show that gives you too much information about how the entire fabric of reality can be messed up by one person having a temper tantrum. I'm MT, and I am here today with the one and the only Erik Voss. How you doing, Erik?
I'm doing good, MT. Hey, if that one person throwing the temper tantrum is LOKI Laufey's son, Odinson, I'd happily live in that world.
Same here. I mean, Loki's got a totally fine mind. That'll be totally fine. Just a perfect universe.
Yeah, let's just give him a chance. Give him a chance to burn everything down and just see what he does, right?
You know what?
I want to see his glorious purpose manifest.
I would love a universe where everyone was just wearing those gigantic horns. Just everyone.
Yeah.
Just mandatory
Let's
horns.
normalize that. Let's normalize horn crowns.
As we slowly creep into the next phase of the MCU, we keep seeing and hearing the word Nexus pop up all over the place. I mean, in WandaVision episode 7, the in-universe commercial defined Wanda as a Nexus Being, which was later revealed to be an intended message from one Dr. Stephen Strange, which I wish we saw, but that's okay. And now in the first episode of Loki, we are shown that there's this whole big bad bureaucratic task force working around the clock to keep Nexus events from ruining the sacred timeline. We know that there's a lot of Nexus history in the Marvel Comics, so that got us thinking about this week's big question, which is which characters in the MCU might be Nexus beings?
Yeah, that's a great question, MT. What does the word Nexus mean to the MCU? And let's look at all the different definitions and what we know from the comics and see if we can figure out what Loki's next move is going to be with this as we look ahead to titles like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Let's do it.
So, in the Marvel Comics, Nexus beings, sometimes referred to as Nexi, are extremely rare and powerful entities that have the ability to upset the future by affecting probability, as well as the just whole flow of the universal time stream, and they're really detached from any one reality. Rather than them existing in a reality, the reality kind of exists in them, right? I guess you could kind of say. They transcend the reality, I think is the best way to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they are so powerful, they really need to be kept a close eye on by groups like the TVA and the Timekeepers.
Right.
Really, we were first introduced to this concept of Nexus Beings in 1990 in Avengers West Coast, Volume 2, number 61. In this comic, Immortus, aka Kang the Conqueror, he wasn't Kang the Conqueror yet, we just knew him as Immortus. He brings a bunch of villains from the future to the present, and it's in this issue that Wanda Maximoff is revealed to be a Nexus Being.
Nexus Being.
Nexus Being. Which was really just like late 80s, early 90s. They're like, let's just come up with new weird words with the letter X in it that we can use to.
It just makes it sound like the word Nexus is actually the primo word to make something sound cooler. It's like, oh my god, it's my Nexus toaster. It just toasts bread in a Nexus way. Totally Nexus, dude.
It was before Quantum in the MCU. Now,
right?
They just put Quantum in front of everything. Just put Nexus in front of everything. Wow, yeah, that's what we do here. Oh, you see my Nexus staff. Oh, that's a Nexus door. Don't go through that one. Oh, yeah, this is our Nexus
Owen
machine.
Wilson is on point, bro. It is on point. It's so good.
I do my best.
Yeah, no kidding.
So back to the comics. Later in Scarlet Witch Volume 1, number 4, that was in 1994, it is established here that only one Nexus being exists on each of the parallel worlds of the multiverse. So Earth 616, the main Marvel Comics timeline, that Nexus being is the Scarlet Witch. In this comic, she's visited by Lore, a Nexi from another dimension that has the power of necromancy. Yes. So she's consumed by her own world and since then has ventured into other realities to consume their dimensions. And MT, I know you're a fan of the.
I'm a big fan of Lore in the comics because I actually have, I think one of these are first appearances. I forget which one, but like these are two comics back to back. And I at one point during WandaVision, I seriously thought that Agatha Harkness was Lore, or a combination between Agatha Harkness in the comics and Lore, because Lore is a necromancer and Agatha Harkness was doing some necromancy. I assume that she was doing some necromancy type stuff with Pietro.
We had a lot of assumptions about what Agatha Harkness was doing. She might still have some necromancy going on. We know she killed a dog, but resurrect it? We don't know.
Hope so.
There's still time.
If I want any MCU character to come back, it's Sparky.
So next, I each have unique powers, and in the Scarlet Witch's case, it's hex power, hex magic. But no matter what individual powers they may have, each Nexus being has the ability to alter reality, to change the fabric of the world around them.
Right.
So while Nexus beings can affect the flow of time and therefore are potentially super dangerous to their reality, they are also considered a keystone of the multiverse. So without Nexus beings anchoring each universe, there wouldn't be the stability to maintain the multiverse. And it plays into the importance of the organization like the TVA to watch over all these Nexus beings. Like, you need a Nexus being to exist in order to maintain the fabric of that reality, but yet that same Nexus being has the ability to tear down that reality. So it's really, they're all very unstable themselves, but that instability is crucial in a way.
Yeah, like it's like they're keeping everything together, but like they could be unstable. So like you need an organization like the TVA, just or you know, your Doctor Stranges to just keep an eye on the Scarlet Witch, which is why Agatha Harkness was freaking out when she realized who Wanda was and when she realized her full potential, and she's just like, oh my god, like what are you, like you are the Scarlet Witch and you're crazy. So the fabric of reality is going to die.
You can fix anything, Mom. Fix it dead.
Right.
And now I'm freaking out.
Yeah, you're too powerful. You're God-level power, right?
Yeah.
So just to run down some quick list of the known Nexus beings in the comics, of course, Scarlet Witch, that's Earth 616. And we see that really play out in the House of M comics, right? That we hoped would come about in WandaVision, but it seems like they might be going that direction in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where Wanda Maximoff just basically resets reality chaotically over and over and over again until creating this House of M reality where mutants are running society. And that leads to a whole battle that has her saying no more mutants, and then a lot of mutants just poof, erased from existence. There's another Nexus being is Ellen DeGeneres. She was a witch queen that was also a Nexus being. Lore absorbed her powers and possessed her physical form. There's a character, Leonard Tippett, who didn't know he was a Nexus being, almost caused a nuclear holocaust on Earth by affecting probability. The Watcher saw what was going on and then kind of manipulated the Avengers into stopping him.
So you're telling me that there's a Nexus being named Leonard Tippett, and he's like one of the most scariest beings? No, better watch out for Leonard Tippett, the Nexus being.
I'd be afraid of Leonard Tippett even before knowing he's a Nexus being. Be like, keep an eye on that one.
Anyone named Leonard Tippett, capable of anything.
Make sure you're really nice to Leonard Tippett.
Yeah, he's the one who will snap first.
Yeah,
it's Leonard
he's
Tippett.
got lists.
I really hope we don't have a Leonard Tippett watching.
Another Nexus being that pops up is one named Seisneg. It's a magic wielding being that Doctor Strange and Mordo had to deal with. It's a time traveler from the 31st century that absorbed all the magical energy in the Marvel universe in order to recreate the Big Bang so life could start over. A lot of these Nexus beings just kind of show up in one-off comics, and they just needed to heighten to like some kind of god-level reality rewriting being. That's an example here.
And fun fact, Seisneg, named backwards, Genesis. Which is why
yeah. Now, Merlin, actually, yes, our friend from the Camelot era, does reside in a pocket dimension near Earth called Otherworld. Was even the Sorcerer Supreme at one point, technically, has immense magical powers. Now, of course, we've skipped over the one who we know for sure is coming into the MCU, Kang the Conqueror. Immortus. Kang. Yeah, he is one of the greatest time-traveling villains of Marvel lore. And will show up in Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, hopefully in Loki. That'd be cool to see him get established there. Just makes a lot of sense to see him. Now, Franklin Richards in some of the What If comics becomes like a Nexus being. And then Vision from Earth 90110. That was my favorite teen soap opera version of Vision. There is a Nexus being version of Vision named Ultra Vision. Same powers as Earth 616 Vision, but in his reality, he's kind of the leading guide of the world, as well as the head of the Avengers in that reality. Jean Grey from Earth 9250, and of course, Jean Grey, the mutant's incredible psychic powers, access to the Phoenix Force, is considered Nexus being there. And then Odin Borson from Earth 9260, similar to that of Odin Borson from Earth 616. This version is the true Nexus being. Now, the term Nexus comes up in other places, like in Marvel Comics, there's what's what's called the Nexus of All Realities.
Right.
And this is a physical space that forms the cross-dimensional gateway between the multiverses. And it first appeared in Marvel's Fear, number 11, 1972. That's the Man-Thing comics.
Yes.
So basically, a couple kids are goofing around, and one of Grandpa has occult textbooks. And then they open up the Nexus before getting bored. They head off to the movies, and it's left the Man-Thing to deal with it. But it just kind of leaves it there. So there's that. But then there's also another version of Nexus in the MCU that should have been Age of Ultron, when Tony Stark visited what was called the Nexus to try to track down.
It's the internet.
What is it?
This gen is the internet.
They called it Nexus. It might have just been a simple term for it, because a Nexus just means like a gateway across things that should be separate, right? So I think that's why it was called that. But who knows? Maybe that could be revisited as like something that allowed for gateways between dimensions to be open, because it just is accessing information networks beyond the barriers of time and space.
Okay.
Check this out. Take a look at this. Jesus Christ.
It's also interesting that you have a character like Vision and White Vision that have had this connection with Wanda's Hex reality. If they're irradiated by her CMBR, and if they have the kind of information access that Ultron had, could that lead to some kind of Nexus opening up through that character?
Oh yeah, like that'd be a really great opportunity to do that, because they are irradiated by this chaos magic now, especially White Vision.
Yeah.
Like, because White Vision, or Vision, I guess, used to be powered by Mind Stone energy, and now White Vision is now powered by chaos magic. So,
in speaking of WandaVision, that's where Nexus has come back and is presented in a way that seems like this is where the MCU is headed, starting with this commercial for Nexus antidepressants. And the way it was described by the voiceover is interesting. They say this Nexus drug can, quote, anchor you back to reality or the reality of your choice. And this ad was made for Wanda, or at least, the reality warping powers that Wanda emits. I just think it's a manifestation of her Nexus powers.
okay.
And I think the fact that in earlier drafts of WandaVision, the commercials were definitely going to be coming from Doctor Strange reaching out to her, tells us that it's coming from a place of authority. It's not just there by accident, that there was an intention by calling this Nexus.
I wonder if, like, Wanda is one of the few people that, from her native universe, that can actually go to a different universe without, breaking down or being, like, rejected because they're not native of that universe.
Right.
So, obviously we're going to do some universe hopping in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness via Miss America, most likely, but, I just want to see, like, how that Nexus moniker or title plays out.
I love this line in the commercial that says,
Because the world doesn't revolve around you. Or does it?
like, it's starting to give us like the meaning to characters who are Nexus beings. This is how it's gonna feel. Like, I think WandaVision was just like a sample of what will be on a macro scale in Multiverse of Madness. Wanda just created a pocket dimension that spanned the limits of a town. But what happens when that pocket dimension spans an entire planet, a galaxy, an entire universe gets warped around this one individual person. And from her point of view, this is normalized. It's what it's always been. You don't remember what came before. It's actually similar to what Thanos was going to do in Endgame, right? He was going to use the stones that they had collected for him to tear the universe apart and start over. And that the people who populated that new universe would have no idea what came before.
Right.
That's essentially what Wanda's doing now.
That'd be nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Now, what's interesting is that Loki is giving us a more specific and technical understanding of how Nexus events occur on a very, very small scale. And I don't think it suggests that every person, every variant who creates a Nexus event is a Nexus being. Because it's kind of suggested that anybody from Loki to Josh Fatum's character to that one Skrull to any of the detainees to Mr. Rocky and Bullwinkle character, the yellow dude, can become a Nexus being. I think it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's suggesting that if these characters become masters of it, then they evolve into a Nexus being. So the idea is they show these Nexus events occurring, right? You see it in Miss Minutes cartoon segment where you see this guy, he jumps onto a new branch in time to go off of where he was supposed to go from the destined sacred timeline. Now, in this cartoon, they don't specify what enables this. In Avengers Endgame, the Ancient One said that the removal of an Infinity Stone was kind of the key that created this branch reality.
Right.
But they don't show any of these other detainees, other than Loki, having any particular Infinity Stone on them. I don't know how Josh Fatum's character, whose dad worked for Goldman Sachs, it sounded like, would be able to possess any of these Infinity Stones.
Like, I was just like, how did you get into trouble, my dude, with the TVA? What did you do?
But maybe that is true. Maybe each of these people, like, they accidentally got their hands on the Eye of Agamotto, or they accidentally held the suitcase containing Loki's scepter, not realizing what was inside, or the orb that contained the Power Stone rolled over to them from when, like, Star-Lord and Rocket and Gamora were tussling over it, and they just picked it up. They're like, and some scroll on Xandar was like, I guess this is mine now, and walks off with it and creates a new branch timeline, not realizing he's a variant, the way Loki didn't realize he was a variant when he took the Tesseract.
Yo, like, that's what I love about this show, because, like, there's heavy, like, the Rick and Morty is very strong in this show, like, the vibes,
yes, it is.
and, like, the, oh my god, like, that dude could have been from anywhere in the timeline. He could have been in the distant future, like, we don't know who this mysterious Goldman Sachs son of Goldman is, or was, now that he's dead.
Or dead, or do you think he was killed there, or just, like, reset back to where he was supposed to be? Because I think killing him would disrupt the timeline that he was taken from, would it not?
Maybe, yeah, I think you're right, because maybe it does more of like a reset type thing, because in the comics, the retcannon was said to rewind you in the timeline. So, like, if I'm not mistaken, so, like, it would make sense if his molecular structure or whatever was just like, all right, you're going, like, back to, like, to the moment where you branched off and, like, everything's fine.
Either way, I hope it was really painful. Like, I hope being retcanned on the fly like that is just like, I feel my cells and my molecules moving backwards and it hurts. That's what I wanted Tenet to be. I wanted Tenet to be not just a simple predestined loop time travel story. I wanted it to be like, it required an immense amount of energy expended by people who would move backwards through time that would do irreparable damage to their bodies as they move backward in time. And that's why I thought, like, oh, that's why they have to wear oxygen masks. That's why you see people in hazmat suits. Like, I thought, like, people who move in reverse entropy are, like, a weird kind of radiation that causes their cells and molecules to break apart.
Dope.
But nope, it wasn't that.
Imagine if they, like, just, like, de-aged the more that they use their powers. Just like, I'm using chrono energy, so now I'm getting younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of like Monster Girl from Invincible.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Or like in that movie Looper, how you saw Paul Dano's characters, like his limbs were falling apart, his fingers were getting erased, and it seemed to hurt, like he was staggering around. I want to see pain.
Give me some pain, Loki. Give me some pain.
That's how it feels!
But I think the idea is that Loki is basically suggesting these Nexus events are small, little isolated events that happen by accident. But if some character gets a good handle on this, if anybody starts to realize the power that comes with that, and then intentionally creates Nexus events, that makes them on par, potentially, with Nexus Beings. Because at that point, they might not even remember what their home timeline was. They're just jumping from branch to branch to branch to branch until it becomes a giant mess. And at that point, what's the difference between yourself and a god?
It's so true. That's a really good point. That's a fantastic point. Just like, you are destroying the fabric of reality on multiple levels.
That could be how we got Kang, you know? Like, that could be how Kang started. It may have started as an accident, and then he's like, ooh, I got away with something. And just like, screw this Infinity Stone. I figured out how I can do even crazier shit than that.
Right.
Because we saw the TVA is more powerful than Infinity Stones. Infinity Stones are paperweights to them, you know?
Oh my god, that was such a good image. It was so powerful and striking. I was like, oh my god, there's so many.
So, looking ahead, if Nexus Beings are going to start being a thing in the MCU, which characters in the MCU will be Nexus Beings? Well,
that's a good question.
Scarlet Witch, obviously, right?
I mean, I would hope so.
I think, yeah, she's got to be the Nexus Being for our dimension of the MCU, which is technically Earth 199999. Is that 5 nines? 5 nines. But now we may see a reality where Loki could evolve into a Nexus Being, the god of mischief. Like, he's already one step on that path by moving out of his home timeline into the TVA. And if he gains the TVA's trust and works with them, he may gain enough power to affect all of reality and the future of the Marvel universe.
Oh my God. Like, you know that this man is making a play to do just that. Like, he's trying to... I'm just so nervous about what Loki's going to do by the end of this series. Like, oh my God. But yes,
yeah,
Loki is definitely a contender.
And I think another contender, hopefully Loki will introduce us to, is Kang the Conqueror. I think if you bring in Kang the Conqueror to the MCU and Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania and don't make him Nexus level powerful, I think it does a disservice to the character. I think Kang is such a complex weirdo, and we need to see him detached from his whatever timeline he came from. He's a guy who looks at timelines like as what outfit of clothes he wants to wear that particular day. So yeah, definitely Kang is the Nexus being. But do you think Vision, White Vision, or some other form of Vision could be revealed as a Nexus being if they want to restore White Vision as the Red Vision form like they did in the comics? They brought him from another reality, merged him with White Vision's body, and we got Vision back. Do you see that happening in the future, MT?
I mean, it's possible, but I think that if any sort of Nexus type deal was going to happen, it'd probably tie into what we were talking about earlier with the fact that, you know, White Vision now runs on chaos energy. And, you know, if we're going to be running into, potentially, this hasn't been confirmed yet, but like if Shuma Gorath or some other multiversal threat is going to be on the horizon, he could use White Vision as an avatar, sort of, because he does have this chaos energy. So any chaos entity out there in the multiverse could potentially make that White Vision into Nexus being, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah. Now, I would have to ask about Doctor Strange, because he's someone who seems like, as a master who knows how to navigate the multiverse, he could rise to that occasion. However, he specifically told Tony Stark that my goal is to protect your reality, douchebag, which makes me feel like he's contained within a reality as opposed to one who's just kind of ambivalently detached from any one particular one. So I don't know, maybe a Multiverse of Madness will be a battle between Doctor Strange and Wanda over who gets to be this universe's Nexus champion.
That'd be crazy.
Now, looking ahead beyond these titles in the MCU, there are characters like Jean Grey, you know, Phoenix. Like, she, hopefully, if they do something where the X-Men are in a different reality and Multiverse of Madness just merges those realities, I think Jean Grey would have been the Nexus being of that reality. I think that'd be really cool to see.
That'd be super dope. You know how X-Men Days of Future Past ended with Logan and talking to Patrick Stewart. Why am I blanking? Professor X. He's talking to Professor X at the beginning. It's like, we gotta fill you in on some stuff. What if the MCU like retcons that and be like, yeah, they were talking about, you know, some stuff happening in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, and like how Jean Grey has to fight Wanda or some stuff in a Nexus battle or whatever. It'd be interesting and dope.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I mean, another reality that could get merged here would be, you know, something from the supernatural realm, like hell. Like Mephisto could totally be a Nexus being.
100%.
But Mephisto could basically be anything. He's a Pandora's box. You know, however you want to use him, you could figure it out.
It's true.
But I also think if they ever wanted to bring back Thanos, the fact that Thanos vanished from his 2014 timeline, I could see him being someone who transcends realities. But how about this? Do we think Uatu the Watcher would be considered a Nexus being?
I don't think so. I think he's just more of like a, just a observer. I don't think he has that much power, because like there's been a lot of times where a lot of the times in the comics, he's just been like, hey guys, I've been watching some stuff and you guys need to interfere because I can't. And like, I don't have the power to do anything.
Yeah, I think Watchers are a special category, right? Where they are outside of realities, but they don't have, to be a true Nexus being, you have to have the ability to rewrite it to your own, preference. And I don't think Uatu does that.
But like we mentioned earlier, a huge contender is Franklin Richards, because we're getting the Fantastic Four very soon. And I think it would be very wise if Kevin Feige introduced the Fantastic Four with the kids already born. So like Franklin Richards he's Diesel. He is a very huge force in the Marvel Universe. So like if anyone's has the potential to be another Nexus being, it's Franklin Richards.
I think there's a lot of potential there. I think that'd be awesome to see. Well, that kind of covers, I think, everything we know so far about how the MCU is approaching this whole concept of what a Nexus being is. So hopefully that gave you some clarity as we head into episode 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of Loki.
Well, great job, Eric. I like that explanation. But before we dive into our bite-sized questions, we got to give you a word from all the lovely people about your big question.
First, we want to thank our friends at Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode. With big wireless providers, there's always a catch, right? That's what's cool about Mint Mobile and their premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. There's no catch. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they are the first company to sell wireless service online only. So by cutting out retail stores, there's no crazy overhead costs that get passed down to you in the form of mystery fees. Instead, Mint just passes on sweet savings directly to you. Here at New Rockstars, Philip switched to Mint Mobile and he really likes it. It's the same quality of service as his old plan, but at a fraction of the cost, and he got to keep his phone and his phone number. For people looking for extra savings, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. So switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped directly to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/bigq. That's mintmobile.com/bigq. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/bigq. We also want to thank Honey for sponsoring this episode. We've all had the experience of shopping online, being ready to check out, and then there's that blank box next to the coupon code just taunting and mocking you for not being savvy enough to be saving money on that pair of shorts, video games, whatever you're buying. Well, with Honey, the coupon code BULLY has met its match. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, including tech, gaming, and even food delivery sites. And when you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. After a few seconds of searching, Honey will apply the best coupon it finds to save you money. Off-screen producer Zach recently saved 10% and got free shipping on a tabletop board game using Honey. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and it installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid in supporting this show. I never recommend something I don't use. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/bigquestion. That's joinhoney.com/bigquestion. Hey, MT, we got some bite-sized questions that people sent in for you to answer. You ready? Okay, let's see. We got one from Crispy Chrissy on Discord, who asks, if there was no gauntlet to hold the Infinity Stones, what other article of clothing/apparel could be comparable? And how would the person wielding it activate the stones instead of by snapping?
Interesting. That's a really good question, Crispy.
Yeah, great question.
Chrissy. Okay, so throughout the MCU, we've seen the Infinity Stone housed in all different sorts of casings, such as the orb that held the Power Stone in Guardians of the Galaxy, or the Tesseract that holding the Space Stone. And sometimes the Infinity Stones are housed in items that served practical purposes that harness the power of the stones. For example, Loki's staff holding the Mind Stone, or the Eye of Agamotto holding the Time Stone. We also see Ronan the Accuser slap the Power Stone right into that hammer for that instant planet-pulverizing weapon upgrade in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Oof, that's a great hammer. I don't know how he found that hammer to do that, but that's a diesel hammer.
What a hammer.
What a hammer. Must have went to Lowe's. But it wasn't until Avengers Infinity War that we saw all 6 Infinity Stones finally combine into one item, a gauntlet. And this gauntlet was forged in the furnaces of Nidavellir. I hope I didn't pronounce that wrong.
No, you nailed it.
And is made of Uru, an extremely durable metal ore capable of withstanding the power of all 6 Infinity Stones. And of course is also the material that Thor's hammer is made out of. And it's a really old material. It's been around since the beginning of the universe, but I digress. Anyway, in Avengers Endgame, Tony uses nanotechnology to craft another gauntlet to hold the Infinity Stones. And while the nanotechnology seems to be able to wield the incredible power of the stones, it still leaks a lot of that energy to the wielder, causing severe damage to the Hulk when he undoes the snap, and very severe fatal damage to Tony Stark when he blips away everybody at the end of Avengers Endgame and, dies. R.I.P. Tony, sorry. But could something other than a gauntlet wield all 6 stones, is what my girl Crispy Chrissy is asking. So, in Thanos number 5 in 2004, we saw Galactus arrange all 6 Infinity Stones into something called a focusing crux. He was attempting to rid himself of his insatiable need for devouring planets, which, bro, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes eating just is so good. You just gotta.
Right.
It's so good. It's delicious. So he was attempting to rid himself of his insatiable need for devouring planets, but wound up opening a portal and unleashing an interdimensional parasite called hunger. And there's no fancy movement that Galactus has to do to activate the stones. He just puts the stones in the focusing crux and it just works. Yay, comics. And Thanos actually tries to stop him from using the stones, warning him that it's sort of like a monkey's paw scenario with those stones. So, as for what item I would choose to hold the stones, that your boy got to go with a fanny pack. You know what I'm saying? It's the best way. It's the best way to use an Infinity Stone. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't be caught dead with an Infinity fanny pack because God.
See, I would have like a key tie and just like play like different like soul, space, soul, time, soul.
Oh my
plant,
God, I
soul.
dig it. That would be great.
Yeah, thank you for answering that one, MT. I love that answer.
No problem. But it is time for our next segment of the show. It's the Box of Scraps.
Box of Scraps!
And today's Box of Scraps question is, Eric, if you could create your own branch timeline, what changes would you make?
Oh, I think I would just make it so that it's pretty much the way things are right now, except social media didn't have comment sections. Remove the ability to comment.
The peace that would enter the world if that happened. The instantaneous world peace. I think you solved it.
Yep. Other than that, I'll take all the bad stuff. Just get rid of that. And I think we can figure out everything from there.
Honestly, if for me, it would just be, I would just do the one thing that everyone's been clamoring for just many years. I would make guac free. Like, why is guac extra? Why? Guac will be free in my
It doesn't need to
timeline.
be.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
MT 2024.
It should be free. Exactly. And you know, it could be free in California. The avocados do grow on trees out here.
Exactly. So
It's so easy to find.
come on. Free guac. 2024.
Free guac. You can afford it. You can afford it, Chipotle. You can afford to give guac for free. Come on.
But anyways, that is our episode of Big Question. Thank you so much to Erik, as always, for joining me this episode. You can follow him at EA Voss, and you can follow me at MasterTainment on all of our social medias. But most importantly, follow New Rockstars wherever we are, but especially on YouTube. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you can get notifications whenever we upload a new video. And send us your big questions by using the hashtag BigQuestion. And subscribe to this podcast feed and give us a nice rating and review and all that. So again, subscribe to New Rockstars, and we'll see you guys next time. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.